Now, I don't know the statistics, but I do know I've experienced a lot of heartache, a lot of freaking mental drain, just stress in general from being in the 9 to 5 space. I believe typically entrepreneurs quit because too much of in our head and not enough work being done. That's what I think it is. Two, not doing enough work. Three, not studying the craft enough. Four is, it goes along with number one of being in your head, is looking at what other people are doing and then kind of like placing your self value based off of the market of just people in general, right? And those are the wrong things to do. And I think number five is what everybody says, which is like the number one thing that people say when you're like, how come you're not an entrepreneur? How come you don't do this? The uncertainty, right? The uncertain factor. Like, oh man, I'm uncertain. I don't know if it's going to work. They all tie into each other, but I think they all play a huge role into the person being a new entrepreneur, a huge role, because there's so much self-doubt from the very beginning. When we first start, we're in grade school, the teacher asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Now, I've never heard anybody say they want to own their own business. I've never heard anybody say that, right? I've seen examples of that because I grew up in a household where, like, I had my grandfather along with his friends. They had their own club and they were entrepreneurs, but they also were hard workers. So they were career driven men. They had 9 to 5s. But I grew up in a household where I saw that firsthand, and I've had uncles, aunts, things like that. So I'm blessed, but not everybody has that situation going on for them. Now, when you go to school, that's like your first form of peer pressure, your first form of just being introduced into the world, right? Now, when you ask that question, what do you want to be when you grow up? What's the main things that people say? Fireman, a police officer. I want to be, it'd be something that their parents are doing, and more than likely their parents are working a 9 to 5, right? Now, they say the first, I think, 5 to 7 years is what typically makes a person's mental capacity, even up until they're an adult, right? Unless you do heavy self work, what you believe at 7 years old, or what you experience around that age, is typically what will just be replaying in your mental state. And I believe that. So, with that being said, you're working against yourself each and every day. People are not fond of that because, for one, they were taught that being an entrepreneur is risky. You're going against the grain. But they don't tell you about how many people that try to go into that 9 to 5 market, that job market, fail, right? They don't keep it funky with you.